It is my pleasure to present Chris Roberts for a Bangor University Honorary Fellowship for services to research, health and social care practice in the field of dementia. This is in particular recognition of his unceasing work in making the voices of people living with dementia in Wales, UK and internationally heard across the areas of policy, clinical practice and daily life within communities. Chris has been characterised by a rich thread of experiences that underpins his compassionate approach to others, an understanding of the human condition, and a passion for the importance of citizenship. Although we talk of citizenship for people living with dementia now as part of our day-to-day discussions, it is a recent development, and Chris has been a pioneer in driving forward this agenda. So Chris was born in Prestatyn and lived in Gronant. His mother's side were military and father's side were coal miners. He had a high school education and attended Llisfai Agricultural College, worked on a dairy farm as a herdsman, but changed career totally by becoming a coal miner working underground in the Point of Ayre colliery. He then switched to a panel beater, sprayer for a car repair company, but later went to be self-employed, specialising in motorcycle repairs and customising. At the same time, after marrying Jane, 25 years ago this August, together they started a shared property rental business. Chris opened a successful custom motorcycle shop, Castlegate Customs, but eventually finished the motorcycle business to concentrate on the property portfolio, although retaining a continuing passion for motorcycles. The critical shift in Chris's life was the emergence of an initial memory problem alongside emphysema that led to a diagnosis of young-onset vascular dementia and Alzheimer's disease. After his diagnosis of young-onset vascular dementia and Alzheimer's disease in his early 50s, Chris was invited to take part in a Bangor University research project developing and evaluating peer support groups for people living with dementia. This experience was the launchpad for Chris becoming an incredible advocate for ensuring the voices of people living with dementia are heard clearly and with a purpose, driving forward the citizenship agenda for dementia in the areas of policy, clinical practice, and in the wider community. Chris has used his own experiences of life with dementia to transform other people's lives. His own experiences has inspired him to lead developments across the UK in ensuring the voices of people with dementia are heard, respected, and built into both education, clinical practice, and policy. Chris is a key part of DEEP, the Dementia Engagement and Empowerment Project, which has been an important forum for peer support and advocacy for people living with dementia and family members, as well as being active across the UK as an Alzheimer's Society ambassador. As a communicator, Chris is adept and skillful using social media as a catalyst for action, creating networks of support and providing an insight for others about living with dementia, including as a dementia blog survivor. He and his family courageously allowed the BBC panorama cameras into their home and lives for a 12-month period to document the impact of dementia on their lives, and the resulting programme led to a massive increase in public awareness and understanding of dementia and its effects. I first met Chris Roberts through his teaching on a new MSc in Dementia Studies programme, and I was struck by his openness to questions from students and also his ability to connect with students, talking passionately about his own life and the need to recognise the citizenship of people living with dementia. However, other colleagues have had a long-standing working relationship with Chris and Jane, extending back for many years, in particular Professor Bob Woods, in the area of research in the DSDC, the Dementia Services and Development Centre at Bangor University, and as an active champion for the Dementia Research Programme. More recently, a wide spectrum of colleagues at Bangor University have worked closely with Chris, from focusing on dementia-friendly churches to working with Dr. Catherine Heather-Jones, focused on dementia in rural communities, and in the clinical world of hospital care with Sean Page, a nurse consultant for dementia in the Health Board, collaborating to improve standards of care and highlighting the importance of compassionate dementia care to improve standards across the Health Board, including family members. This signals the breadth of Chris's expertise, impact, and contribution, extending from involvement with research to engaging communities and the Health Board, in understanding dementia from the insider perspective. As an honorary lecturer in the Ageing and Dementia at Bangor Research Group, Chris has contributed to both teaching and supporting research activity. He not only contributes to teaching on the MSc Dementia Studies programme, but is also an active Dementia Friends champion across the student population. He also acts as an advisor on research projects and, importantly, has gifted the recordings from the BBC Panorama programme that charted his journey with his diagnosis to the university as the Chris Roberts Living with Dementia Archive. This is a unique, international, valuable resource. Furthermore, Chris has had and continues to have an active role within the wider research community outside Bangor, in the UK more broadly. For instance, on a national level, being a NICE committee member. On the international stage, Chris, with Jane by his side, have been tireless contributors to research conferences across the world, forging the message about recognising the citizenship of people living with dementia and the need for inclusion of people's voices across all areas of research, policy and practice, centred on nothing about us without us. Outside the sphere of academic research, Chris has also been an active advocate internationally for social change and action, being a vice chair of the European Working Group for People with Dementia, working with Alzheimer's Europe and a member of Dementia Alliance International. In the area of policy making, Chris has also played an important role in making the voices of people living with dementia and their families heard, including being part of the 2020 PM Dementia Challenge Task and Finish Group, as well as shaping policy and strategy in Wales. Chris and Jane were members with Professor Jill Windle of the Welsh Government Advisory Group responsible for the Dementia Action Plan for Wales 2018 to 2022 and continue to serve as advisors on the oversight of the implementation of the plan. For his outstanding and remarkable achievements, I am delighted to present Chris Roberts for services to research, health and social care practice in the field of dementia.
Ar ran y brifysgol, y mae'n dda genaf gyflwyno i chwi gwyd gamrodoriaeth a anrhyddedd.
Mae'n bleser ennill dy droesawu fel cymrawd anrhydedd Prifysgol Bangor.
Bore da. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Being here today in this amazing university is an experience that I never imagined I would have. I'm very, very honoured and also very humbled. This is a very special and exceptional memory for me and for my family, and especially for a person like me, a person living with dementia. Even though I feel I'm not worthy of this recognition, I do consider myself to be very fortunate by being here today. But being here today would not have been possible without the inspiration that I have received from my seniors, my peers, my colleagues at the university, for whom I have the deepest respect, and for whom I have derived the strength to challenge myself and to perform and live better. I'd especially like to thank Professor Bob Woods, Professor Jill Wintle for their undying support and inspiration I've gathered from them. And also Doctors Sean Williams, Catherine Heath-Jones and Jen Roberts for their friendship and their understanding and patience. But my last thanks go to not forgetting friends and colleagues Sean Page and Ian Abbott Davis. But my last thanks now go to my very patient and understanding friends with and without dementia, and my lovely family, but most of all to my lovely wife Jane, who has become not just my carer, but also my PA, logistics manager, travel agent and chauffeur. We walked into my final diagnosis as husband and wife, and we walked out as patient and carer. Jane has supported me and stood by me when others have walked away. She supported me when I've been unsteady or fallen, mentally and physically, and never ever stopped loving or believing in me. We've now gone back to what we always did best, being again husband and wife and supporting each other. We do that so much better. There's about 50 million people living with dementia, 850,000 of those in the UK, and that's an old figure. And here in Wales, approximately 50,000 people. We live amongst you, we all live amongst you, and are capable of still living our lives, and not always well, but with the correct support and understanding we can live, and live better with dementia. My thanks to all the advocates that have gone before me, and to the seminal works of people like Professor Bob Woods, Tom Kitwood et al., that we are now being accepted as much more than just a label. A diagnosis should not and must not define anybody. On a closing note, be glad to hear, all I want to tell each one of you here present today that you should never, ever give up. Even if you're convinced that it's all over. Even if the majority of people around you say it's all over. It's never over unless you want it to be. And a true example of this is standing here in front of you. I've never given up, and those around me never gave up on me. I might have dementia, but it doesn't have me yet. So I can vow.